Welcome to Emerald Hill Skies. My name's Doug, and we operate on the outskirts of Louisville, Kentucky, here with our scope out in the field there. Let's see if I can show you a picture. It's about 200 feet away from us here, and it's kind of an exciting time. It's 3:48 a.m. in the middle of the morning. I've stayed up here so I could try to chase this Christmas Comet that you might have been hearing about. And boy, when it calculated by this targeting software that I use called Astroplanner, you can see here it literally just has risen up above the horizon here so that we could try to draw a bead on it. I wanted to be able to bring you the Christmas Comet. Comet Leonard was discovered just earlier this year, 2021, and as soon as it was discovered, those folks that study these comets began making predictions about when it would come closest and brighten up. And I'm happy to tell you, this is it. So here we go. Comet Leonard right here. Let's see if we can zero in on it some. We're going to tune this black level a little bit right there. And let's see, maybe right about like that, and then we'll bring this in. Now you notice that, let's zero in on it. I've been, for 9 minutes I've been capturing frames, 30 seconds each frame. And this line that you see is the amount of distance it's covered in 9 minutes. So it is moving very rapidly. So let's clear our live stack and start over again so that you can see it as it's captured from the first 30-second frame. And what I like about this Comet Leonard is it is coming right at Christmas time. So it's enabling us to have kind of a special glimmer of something right out of the heavens, for us to be able to enjoy on this December early morning. So here we go. There it is. That's a 1 30-second capture. And we've got it magnified some there. Let's back off so you can see that tail. We'll do a color balance. That greenish tinge that you see, we'll pull that down just a little bit because it's just that our software is trying to figure out what color to make this thing, It is true it's in the eastern horizon over there, but some of that just might be the glimmer off of that head of the comet that you see. It is making a nice head, isn't it? And then you can see the tail. We'll follow it a little bit. This is magnified at 50%. Let me back off a little bit more so you can get the full picture of the tail there. This is beautiful. And to be able to get up in the middle of the night like that, this is 3:51 a.m. now. As I make this live stream, it's December 4th, early in the morning. And I'm so glad to have had this clear night. I know that many of my friends, amateur astronomers, have been trying to capture Comet Leonard as well. And to be able to have this ultra clear night, it was a very narrow window because the last predictions I saw when this night began said that probably it would only last until around 4 a.m. And by the time we got to 4 a.m. or so, the clouds would be rolling in here on the outskirts in Louisville, Kentucky. So I'm just thankful that we were able to get up. This is an especially long period comet. When we say long period comet, we mean that once it leaves our vicinity, it's going to fly out into its own interstellar space. And Comet Leonard is interesting because it flies in an orbit that's kind of almost perpendicular to the plane of the solar system. So once it leaves, it's going to be gone for like 80,000 years. So this is a live view that you're seeing right now. And once you see this and once it's gone, it'll be gone for 80,000 years. This comet travels way outside of the Earth's orbit, probably out there around Jupiter, maybe 5 times the length that the Earth is from the sun. And the tail that you see is made by all that water that's kind of the sublimation that's caused by that water that's pouring off of that icy head, and it's being lit up by the sun and its ionization. This comet is traveling extremely fast, even compared with other comets. Some say that it'll reach naked eye visibility sometime during this month. Right now, it's probably somewhere, I don't know, maybe around an apparent magnitude of just over 6. I don't think you'd be able to see it very well now with the naked eye, but you could see it in binoculars. And maybe around December 5th, 6th, maybe, day after tomorrow, it'll be just 5 degrees from the star Arcturus. So you could go out in the night sky, and if you're used to looking for that big bright star Arcturus, it'll stand out. Then you could use that as a way to locate it. I'm excited about this. I know that down through the years, comets have been seen as being, signs of something. I know there are some who even feel like that it's perhaps a comet that could have been the signal of Christ's birth so many years ago, around 2,000 years ago. I guess that's one reason why people enjoy being able to call it the Christmas Comet, because by referring to it as the Christmas Comet as such, it kind of makes you feel like that maybe it could have been an example of what might have happened in that early time when just maybe those nights before Jesus was born, to maybe lead the wise men here. I'll just show you here. I was just looking. Let's see. Yeah, I was just looking here in a Sky and Telescope article about it. This was just yesterday. It came kind of close to Messier 3, the globular cluster Messier 3, and that was a cool image. This is an example of that orbit I was telling you about, the way it's kind of almost perpendicular to be able to go back out to where it lives in interstellar space. And it gets its name from senior research specialist Greg Leonard at the Mount Lemmon Observatory near Tucson. He discovered this comet on January 3rd, so exactly 11 months ago he discovered this. It was a little more than just a faint distant speck. And now, of course, it's traveled quite a bit. Now, it's not going to be as bright as like Halley's Comet or something like that, but it is bright enough that perhaps it'll be light enough to see with the naked eye. And again, here's a nice star chart. Let me make sure that you're seeing that. Yep. If you look for the Big Dipper, most of us can find the Big Dipper in the sky, huh? Follow this arc that the handle makes, and that'll help you arc to Arcturus, as they say, and that'll get you in the right neighborhood. See, it's December 4th, so the comet is right here, right now, 5th, 6th, 7th. So by the time it gets to tomorrow or the morning of the 7th, it'll be just outside that arc. If you look at this Boötes, it looks to me like an ice cream cone or a club. The comet will be inside the bottom part of the cone by tomorrow night or the night afterward. Now notice, it's just going to be a couple of more nights, and then it'll disappear over the horizon by the 10th in the morning glow. So every single morning now that passes, it's going to be harder and harder to be able to see. What I like is how quickly it's moving. And again, I love the fact that we can kind of see that movement. Let me Let me enlarge one more time. I'll go up to 100%. That movement that you see is because our telescope mount out there in the field, it's tracking on all these stars. But the comet has moved that much compared to the movement of the stars. And I could try to track the comet, but I've tried it before. It's not very easy. I think it's more effective for you to see this is how fast it's moving down in the sky compared to the stars themselves. So it is quite a sight, isn't it? Look at that long tail. Look at that beautiful tail. And I'm just thankful that you were willing to be able to come here. That was my alarm to get up at 4. If I had fallen asleep, that would at least wake me up so that I'd get up in time to see it. But fortunately, I was able to stay up and catch it before the clouds come in. Once again, you might be interested in knowing that we're using a RASA telescope. That's a Rowe Ackerman Schmidt astrograph. And you can see it in the lower pane of this scope view that we have. We've got a little WISE 3 camera that's aimed up at the RASA. It's an 11-inch RASA. It's on an Ioptron CEM 70G mount. The mount is the thing that points the telescope. It sort of controls it, computer controlled, and we're connected to it from inside here in my office. You might call it the control room tonight. It's on a tripod out there, 200 feet away from us. At the end of the RASA, there is a mirror. The light comes in through a corrector plate in the front, and the light bounces back up. And inside this dew shield, there is a camera. If you're interested, it's the ZWO. It's the ASI 2600 MC Pro. We're just running a single filter. It's the Celestron light pollution filter. I am on the edges of Louisville, so we do get a bit of a light dome from Louisville, Kentucky, or Bortle 6 if you're familiar with that Bortle scale. So that Celestron light pollution filter does indeed filter out a bit of the light pollution. On top of the scope, you can see a little white cube, and that white cube is a security camera that's looking with the scope, kind of along with the scope, so it looks up in the sky, and that's the view that you're seeing in this top pane. It is that WISE 3 security cam that's riding on top of the scope, and you're seeing it aimed out in the direction. And this is the horizon that you can see there. So you can see we just caught the comet. Now, if you look here very closely, you might have to kind of get down close. With that security camera, you can actually see the Big Dipper. There are the 2 stars in the end of the bowl of the Dipper. This is the bottom, and then this is where the handle starts. And look how this handle makes an arc. We're saying that if you can arc over to Arcturus, then you'll be able to see the comet flowing down. I don't think we can see Arcturus. It might be lost in that tree. That might be Arcturus right there, as a matter of fact, kind of lost in that tree. But you can see where the scope is aimed. It's aimed right there, and that's where the comet is tonight. Kind of exciting one more time to be able to see the movement that it's making in the night sky. Well, if you've enjoyed this kind of content, I hope you'll hit subscribe and maybe even pass the word about Emerald Hill Skies. And you could click on the bell to be notified when there's content like this. And that would notify you in your YouTube membership if you signed up for YouTube. You could also hit a thumbs up if you like content like this, and it does help us be able to get a little bit higher in YouTube's algorithm so that other interested folks can find our content. We do live streams for folks who are interested in the craft of astronomy. Sometimes we do little instructional videos, lessons that we've learned along the way, we call skylets, and then live streams when we're just sharing views of the night sky. Like tonight's view, the actual view of Comet Leonard. Well, thanks for joining us, and boy, this thing is moving fast, and it won't be long till it's going to be gone, and it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. After the 10th of December, it will have descended down too far to be able to see in the nighttime sky, and maybe 10th or 12th, 10th or 12th. Depends on where you are also in the world, and you guys are in the southern part. It's on its way, and in a couple of weeks, as you know, you'll be able to use Stellarium or some other planetarium program to predict where it'll be where you live. You could download Stellarium and be able to find that. Thanks a lot for tuning in with us. We're excited that you were here, and we just want to wish you a good morning wherever you are, and thanks a lot for tuning in. God bless and good night.